Welcome in this new tutorial. Today I'm going to talk about an important topic. Everyone uses ChatGPT and generally speaking GPTs. I have also have had some interactions with colleagues and people I know who are really struggling to know the difference between, or let's say, when to use ZeroShot, OneShot, and FewShot prompting. What is ZeroShot and OneShot and FewShots? When to use them depends, of course, on the situation. It depends on the model you use. It depends on the content, what you need to treat like examples, or what situation do you have. Does ChatGPT has knowledge about your case or not? And generally speaking, prompt engineering is kind of knowledge or practice to guide the LLM to output the goal output. Let's say the output that you need to get or want to get. Let's begin with some examples. So I would ask ChatGPT to classify the sentiment of this sentence. The weather today is really awesome. So we can see that ChatGPT has already answered this question, I mean, in a true sense. We can argue that this is a little bit too much of output, but let's say that zero-shot prompting at this stage is successful. Now I'm jumping into another example. Let's suppose I want to have an assistant to or consult the GPT model in order to buy a model, a car. Let's say I'm hesitating between choosing a Tesla, a Mercedes-Benz, a BMW, or something like that. So let's write the following prompt. I need to buy a new car which has a green color, hybrid motor, and park assistance. Shall I purchase a Tesla? And now this is actually my zero shot at this stage. Let's see what ChatGPT outputs. So we can see that ChatGPT begins to analyze what Tesla can, and this is too much. This is actually not what I need. I just need to the model to say if I shall purchase a Tesla or not. So then I would go further on and say, in this case, follow the example to answer my query. And here, this is first of all an instruction, and here is the example. Example query. I would take the same question. So let's take this as an example, and the answer should be no, you shouldn't. You shouldn't. Now I would say follow the example above to answer my query. And here I would say, for example, let's say I need to buy a new car which has a black color, an electric motor, and park assistance. Shall I push case a Mercedes A 180? Let's say that. And see what it outputs. It says, no, you shouldn't. And this is obvious because it knows that this model has no electric motor. This is my own interpretation, but it worked. So this is an example of one-shot prompting. You can see it was in the beginning hesitating between like searching kind of its own knowledge about Tesla, comparing, and then trying to give an answer, which is, for my case, too much. I just wanted to see something like that. This has worked so far. Now the question is when to use what is FewShot prompting and when to use that. Now suppose you are a company and you have your own policy. You need to give some assistance to colleagues or newbies, something for onboarding or something like that. And the thing here, you want to let the LLM, which has obviously no knowledge about your company, about your culture, about your own interpretation of things, your own world, and then you want it to answer your or let's say react correctly, or guide your colleagues correctly. So here in this case, I would say according, this is a new zero-shot prompting. According to our company policy, is a YouTube video which is 5 months old new or old? So let's say we want to know, according to our own interpretation of old and new, whether a YouTube video is old or new. So obviously, and then let's try this. Now this is the result of the prompt, and you can see that the model is confused. The classification of a YouTube video as new or old depends entirely on how your company defines these terms in its policy, blah, blah, blah. So it's clear enough that this is not sufficient for ChatGPT because it doesn't have the context. It doesn't have the context of our policy. For this, we need to give at least, let's say, one example. So I would say, to make it faster, because I have prepared the prompts that I need, follow the example below to answer my query. Example, query according to our company policy is a YouTube video which is 5 months old, new or old, and here it should be actually relatively new, let's say. Now use the example to answer my question. According to our policy, company policy is a YouTube video which is 3 months old, new or old. And now let's see the result, and it says relatively new. So let's suppose that this is wrong. Let's suppose that actually in our company policy, 3 months is new, not relatively new. So for this, I would go further and try with other prompts. Let's say I have these examples. Now again, follow the examples. This time, this is plural below to answer my query. Examples. Query 1, we have this 2 years old, which is old, 1 year old, which is relatively new, and then 5 months relatively new again, for 4 months, even for 4 months relatively new. Now we would say again, according to our company policy, is a YouTube video which is 3 months old, new or old. This is, of course, I did it um, wrong again. I could have just named some example to show you that actually this is a range problem, and we will see that this is not enough. But just let's try this, and then um, I would say this new, which should be correct accordingly, is more or less a good guess. But actually, this is not enough, especially is in a case where we do have some range problem. For this, few prompts engineering would be better if we would just define the rules of our policy. And here we would say, here are the ranges to understand our policy regarding YouTube's video, ranges of YouTube videos. According to our policy, we can define the ranges, and then just like this, ask again the query, type down the query, and then ask, let's say, for 2 months. And here we are sure about the answer. Whatever, we can now try again. We can even try with, let's say, 7 months, and the answer should be relatively new. So this is another example on how to use FewShot prompting. And of course, one of my favorite examples is also using something like this. Just say, write a small, for example, essay about artificial intelligence. And here we will be more or less surprised or not about the output. So this is a very pretty normal essay. In the case of I need to have, let's say, more than that, more structured output. Let's say I need the introduction highlighted, the main content, and the conclusion. I would just add to my query some more instruction and say, let's take this again and say, use following section structure, and I would just define the section structure. In this case, I would say introduction, main content, and conclusion. And here, let's try this. So this is a OneShot in order to explain to the AI or the LLM that I actually need this structure. But of course, whenever this is not enough, this is similar to the range problem that I've had, that I've shown here in this case. I even want more structured output. Let's say I would take the same prompt again, and then here just add some rules. Let's say, write a small essay about artificial intelligence, and then instead of using just this one prompt, I would even go further with some other rules. Introduction, main content, conclusion. Inside main content, use 3 bullet points, and then split the conclusion into two sections, what I've learned, and then next steps. So here you can see again that the LLM reacts differently. Um, so here we can already see the bullet points, and if we want some table, we can even go further and define the table. Here we can see what we've learned in the conclusion and then the next steps. So this is pretty much about ZeroShot, OneShot, and FewShot prompting. If you find the content interesting for you and at least enlightening on how to use prompt engineering for your case, just subscribe and hit the like button or share the video with your friends. I would be more than happy about this. Otherwise, I wish you a very pleasant learning